I did not see that one coming. No, sir, not at all. What's going on, y'all? And yes, here we are, back in the movie theaters once again. Today, I'm gonna talk Freaky, directed by Christopher Landon, the man that brought us Happy Death Day, and starring a very talented cast led by Kathryn Newton and Vince Vaughn. 17-year-old Millie Kessler, played by Kathryn Newton, spends her days trying to survive high school and all the cruel actions of the popular crowd. Same old, same old. But when she becomes the latest target of the Butcher, the town's infamous serial killer, played by Vince Vaughn, her senior year becomes the least of her worries, to put it simply. When the Butcher's mystical dagger causes him and Millie to magically switch bodies, the frightened teen learns that she has just 24 hours to get her body back before she looks like a middle-aged maniac forever. So let me begin this review by going full disclosure with you guys. Honest to God's truth, I did not watch a single trailer for this movie before I went to check it out in theaters. I mean, the concept, who was in this film, I knew absolutely nothing. I just knew that Blumhouse was making a new horror flick and it was getting a lot of buzz. So I kind of just went to the theater to check it out just out of pure curiosity. And let me tell you people something, as soon as I figured out that this movie was what it was, as soon as I figured out what the concept of this movie was, simply what I just described to you beautiful people, as soon as I put two and two together, my jaw was on the floor. Now granted, I will say, as the first act was going on, I was a little bit concerned. At first, Freaky feels like it's trying to be two different films at once. It feels like it's trying to be the classic slasher like Halloween, but at the same time, it's trying to be something like The Breakfast Club. But once that inciting incident happens, man, the movie is a total blast from that point. I was not only busting up laughing at certain points, but I was also scared shitless by a number of images that appear in this film. Easily the best thing about this film, not gonna lie, it's Vince Vaughn. He was absolutely fucking hilarious in this movie. I'm not kidding. This is the funniest he's been in years. Maybe since Dodgeball. I love Dodgeball. Dodgeball was a long time ago, guys. This role is nothing like Dodgeball, long story short. I think Vince Vaughn nails both characters he plays here perfectly, not just in his movements, but also in his voice inflections. He plays this stone-cold killer, but once the curse takes full effect, when he sticks that dagger into Millie's shoulder, once he becomes Millie, he shows some really impressive range. And I could not believe my eyes at some of the scenes he had to go through here. Now, body switch movies are nothing new. As far as recent memory goes, Jack Black's performance in the new Jumanji series comes to mind, and Vince Vaughn's performance is very similar to that. But Jack Black's character in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle wishes the stuff was as batshit insane as what Vince Vaughn goes through. I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but man, oh man, it was quite the ride. I was bewildered. It was a lot of fun to watch. He freaking nailed this performance. Now, Kathryn Newton is also very good in the film, and once that switch that I alluded to happens, she can become extremely menacing. I mean, her gaze, her death stare, shivers. I will admit, I did not find her turn as the psycho killer to be as interesting as Millie Kessler overall. But again, like Vince Vaughn, Newton does display some extremely impressive range. And I really respected how this killer was also written in this film. He's not only very menacing, but he's also taking advantage of certain situations. He's very intelligent, quick on his feet. And I think that's what made him all the more menacing. Not only the fact that he is freaking brutish, extremely intelligent also. Now, while I'm on the subject of killers, guys, let's talk about some of these death scenes, shall we? Because my god, are the kills here brutal. Christopher Landon is holding nothing back when it comes to the blood, the gore, the limbs. There were scenes that I just was, it pained me watching at least one of the kills during the climax. As a man, like, ugh. Now again, usually blood and gore isn't necessarily what would scare me in a horror flick. Again, a big theme from my Halloween playlist popping up again, fear is subjective, but I really liked the inclusion of the blood and the gore in this scenario, especially in that really fun opening scene, which comes right out of an old school slasher flick like a Halloween. But the blood and the gore really helps to sell the menace and the invincibility almost of this guy, like a Michael Myers, like a Jason. I mean, the homages are everywhere, even in the title. This is essentially Freaky Friday combined with Halloween. This is the type of film that Landon would totally do, for sure. Happy Death Day is basically just Groundhog Day or Edge of Tomorrow, just in the horror/slasher genre. And I will also say that Landon does a really nice job directing this movie. These shots are very crowded, and there's some really nice blocking and choreography going into these shots. There is so much going on in each frame, and I think Landon does an excellent job piecing all of these frames together. But that kind of leads me into the spots where Freaky was hit or miss for me. As I've mentioned, there's some pretty clever writing throughout this film, but that also leads to some very cheesy writing on the side. And I feel like the cheesiness is something that's to be expected in a horror comedy like this one, or better yet, just a simple slasher flick, which again, this director pays excellent homage to throughout. And the homages are there especially in that first opening sequence where we're introduced to Vince Vaughn. A lot of that dialogue feels like it's plucked out of John Carpenter's original Halloween. And that's kind of what I respect about Christopher Landon. He has proven with this film also, and along with Happy Death Day, that he can take a proven concept that works, like in a Groundhog Day, like in a Freaky Friday, and he's proven that he can weave that into the horror genre and make a really fun movie out of it. And if you were to ask me, that is the one word I would use to describe Freaky to you guys. Fun. But now that he's proven these points, I would really like to see Landon tackle some more original projects down the line, because he is a very solid director, and I think he's definitely very capable of even writing some more original concepts for his films. One more thing, in the acting department, I gotta give a shout out to my man Alan Ruck. That's right, Cameron Fry from Ferris Bueller is in this, and I had no idea. He's here as Millie's really unreasonable and immoral teacher. Like, my god, this dude is ass. The things he says and does to Millie throughout this film are just... God, I just wanted to punch this dude in the face. Obviously, I had a great time watching Freaky, but there's one thing that I really want to discuss with you guys before I give out my grade for this, and that's the ending. It's not like the ending of this film was bad. It was just very long-winded. There was a point near the climax of this film where it feels like it's the perfect bow on everything. Ties up the present nicely, and I was just sitting there watching it, and I'm like, okay, cool. I was getting ready. I was going to grab my little Hydro Flask, and I was going to be on my way. But then I realized that there was like 15 minutes left, and it just kept going and going. Now, don't get me wrong, I dug the last 15 minutes of the film and what Landon and the actors were doing there. But after that perfect ending that already occurred earlier in the film, I was just kind of like, eh. But obviously, I'm not going to downgrade this movie too harshly for that, because Freaky is still a very fun time at the movie theaters. If you can check this out, if you feel safe checking it out, I definitely recommend you do so. I'm going to give Freaky a B+. Vince Vaughn steals the show. Fun concept. I cannot wait to watch this film again and again. And I definitely think Freaky is one of those movies we needed right now. I think we definitely needed this big burst of energetic fun. Thank you, Christopher Landon. But have you guys seen Freaky? Are you looking forward to seeing it? Do you guys enjoy it? Do you not? I would love to hear all of those thoughts down in the comments section down below, and I would love to discuss them with you all further. And if you guys are enjoying this content and you guys want to continue discussing all these fun topics and entertainment with me, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can so you can stay in the loop anytime I release a new video. And if you guys enjoyed this review, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out also. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all for your support of the channel up to this point. It really does mean the world to me. Look out for more exciting content coming to the channel very soon, including discussion of some other newer releases coming out, as well as my continuation of the David Fincher series. Thank you so much again for the support, y'all. With all that being said, back talk commence!